I mean, I loved it when I found it because I went in and there was nobody calling you a dick. There was nobody doing, people were kind of coming in and saying, I'm 25 stone. And people were like, cool. Okay, let's get your food started. Let's get you better, start walking, do that. And everybody was so encouraging. And there used to be, was it the Woo Room, I think you called it?
Oh
One
yeah.
of the floor, and people would come in, and every single, like, even no matter how small it was, people like the goals that they had achieved, people were like, amazing, good for you, kind of pushing each other on, and you could see the growth of people in it, in the community. I mean, you see the joy in people's faces because they're being themselves when they come to your meetup groups and things like that. How do you think that's the thing? Is people have forgotten how to have fun, and we're letting society dictate who we are, and we're like Neo, we're trying to break out of the matrix.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also, I started this, like I said, 12, I bought the domain 14 years ago, but man, the things I've learned in 14 years and really coming to understand just how much I don't know. Like comically, I thought, I'm 38 now. I thought I had life figured out at 26. Like I had it, like, and just I had it all figured out. And now I look back and, oh, sweet naive Steve. But I'm also thankful that I took a chance back then and tried this and kind of threw caution into the wind a bit and took a chance on starting something and eventually getting out of the way and letting the movement kind of do its thing. Um, I think with everything on the internet being so divisive right now and everybody just being angry and knowing that anger is what gets clicks and gets shares and what gets page views and what tracks our attention, I think we have to be very careful about where our attention is going online. I'm very deliberate about who I follow on Instagram. I'm very deliberate about where my time on my phone goes. I'm very deliberate about how I use Facebook. Literally, the only reason I use Facebook anymore is to check in on the Nerd Fitness Facebook group. Like
I'm the
that's
same.
it. That's
Yeah.
the only thing I go to. I have my wall turned off. I have my news feed turned off. I can't see it. It's just there is no shortage of ways to feel angry on the internet if you're looking for it. And even when you're not looking for it, that's just so common. So I'm very deliberate about where that time goes, where my attention is spent, because I would much rather divert that energy into my real life, to playing the musical instruments sitting next to me, or reading another book behind me, or spending time with my wife and my dogs on a walk. Those things are so much more important to me. But if you're not careful, you can spend all day online outraged at the whatever thing happened that day, and
Stupid
then
things.
by
Yeah.
the but whatever it is that for that day, and then by the next day you've already moved, the world has moved on to the next thing and forgotten the previous thing. Um, so it's really challenging, right? I think it comes down to living deliberately. Geez, I'm going to butcher this too, but I'm going to say, I think it was Seneca talking about the, a tragedy of living an unexamined life. Um, or, Ben Franklin saying, most men die at 25, but they're not buried until 75.
Mhm.
I think if we're not careful, it's really easy to sleepwalk through our existence and to just focus on the mundane things in front of us. And if we're not careful, years can go by. So as we're examining our life and stopping this unexamined existence, we can identify, okay, maybe I'm actually spending way too much time on TikTok, or I'm spending way too much time on Instagram, or getting mad and replying to people on Twitter. Like, or it's, hey, I'm realizing that my job is actually toxic and my boss sucks. Like, it starts by examining kind of where you are, with some self-compassion. We all didn't know what we didn't know, and we all got to where we are, and we all learned a lot of lessons from that. So all we can really do is focus on what we're going to do moving forward. And for me, it was, I have lived a pretty fun life, but it was a comfortable life. I had never traveled much. I had never taken any serious risks. Certain things came easy to me and other things didn't, and I only focused on the easy things. And I had to examine my life and identify the type of life I wanted to live and get specific with it. And then it simply came down to, that berserker mode, using those 20 seconds of courage to buy the domain name, starting the blog and fumbling and failing and writing articles that nobody was reading for a while. But I was having fun with it. And once I had fun with it, then it was using 20 seconds of courage to ask the community how I could provide a product or service to them in exchange for, paying my salary and identifying a way to turn it into a business. And then it was taking the jump, using 20 seconds of courage to quit the day job. It happens step by step, and it requires a little bit of courage at each step. So just having steps that you're working on and knowing that you might take a side step or identify a side quest, or there could be a plot twist because, oh, we have a baby coming that I was unaware of, or, who knows what it could be. Like, that's life. And we're all trying to figure it out. Like I said, we're all emotional disasters on a rock hurtling through space. We're all trying to figure out how to have a little bit of fun in our brief window on this planet to do something meaningful. And I think that means examining where our time is going and what we're giving our attention to, and then making some small changes and towards the direction of the person or the life that we're looking to try to live.